we have Disarmed. So what do you go by? Disarmed or Disarmed Pro now? I feel like you have. I feel like the Pro's like been attached since LittleBigPlanet.
It's a little strange because Pro has been around for a long time, and it's one of the biggest regrets I've ever had in a username. The O in Pro is a 0, so many people try to look up Pro like PRO, and they never find me on PSN.
And I typed it as a O2 as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that when the PSN name changes come out, I can just completely drop it and just go by Disarmed. It's like simple too. It's like Disarmed, straight up one word, no giant like name. I don't know why I made the name like that. I think I was playing Call of Duty.
No X's.
I was a little kid.
Yeah, the X's are a Call of Duty symptom, maybe. Perhaps like some first person flair there.
Oh my god, yeah, because I wanted to like have that bold name in all the lobbies.
Well, yeah, we have Disarmed here. This is Subtinko and Basement's in the chat. And
what's up there?
Yo, what's up?
I think this is the first time you've spoke to well, both of us actually. But when's the first time you've heard of Disarmed Basement? Because I think I told you about him like a while back, or I'm not sure, I forget. But you've heard the name before, right?
Yeah, well, you've told me about a bunch of the people from the LBP community, but I think I underestimated everybody's skill level going into this. And like, again, man, like haven't seen your work, dude. Nice work, man.
Thank you, dude.
Amazing.
I appreciate that like greatly. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I've been around in like LittleBigPlanet for like the whole ride, really. Like ever since the first game came out. I think got really used to how stuff around there, and I think it helped a lot with like doing stuff later on, like the stuff I've done. But yeah, dude, it's like super awesome that game and everything. And it's really awesome to see people like looking at the work I've been doing as of currently, and like having like such a positive like reaction to it.
Yeah, and Disarmed's another East Coaster. I mean, finally we got some more people on the East Coast. I'm tired of hearing and seeing all this stuff going on the West Side. I sound like I'm from the '90s saying West Side, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sony and the gaming industry needs to, shift it a little more on the East Coast of the USA. It could be more done, I feel like, but maybe something will come from all these people just growing up in the industry with these tools.
Yeah. Yeah, the East Coast is dry in like game development. Like if there was like more East Coast companies, I guarantee I'd be working with one of them or something. But like all the good companies are either in like Santa Monica, the West, or across the seas. And yeah, we need to step up our game, like our game development game.
Well, yeah, a lot of people have been inspired by like these tools, and I mean, not necessarily that means that they want to become a game developer per se, but I mean, it's happening more frequently with titles like LittleBigPlanet and now Dreams, and I mean. We'll probably see a repeat from what happened with LBP, which some people had been hired. People like John Beach, Steve Big Guns.
Steve Big Guns, yeah. I actually think the good thing about this that it's happened before and it will happen again because I feel like me and Molecule learned how to do this. Their games open up like a whole new generation of like artists, like even if they're not just game developers. I've seen people who I know someone named Subtact. He's a musician. He's been on Monster Cat before. A really cool dude named, I don't know, I don't want to disclose his name, but he used to make LittleBigPlanet music, like normal stuff. LittleBigPlanet music. He went from doing LittleBigPlanet stuff to like having millions of views on like Monster Cat. Like that game generates, like their games generate like an immense amount of artists and everything. It's really beautiful, honestly. I feel like with this game, that's gonna happen again, and that's really cool to me because now I'm gonna be able to know someone who, like, maybe a few years down the line, are gonna be a very influential musician or like traditional digital artist, and they're probably gonna say, You know, I started with Dreams, and that's just so cool to think about.
Yeah, especially for Dreams. But as far as like LittleBigPlanet, I feel like you guys had a head start because there was people like me who just looked at LittleBigPlanet, and it was nice. It had nice a creative suit, but well, not really a suit, but it was nice for what it was, but it wasn't 3D, and that was just like a turnoff for a lot of people who were familiar with 3D creation in the first place. Like, I started with 3ds Max, so when I jump into something like LittleBigPlanet, it's just 2D. I want to do 3D stuff, and I just kind of set it aside. But you've been probably I don't know how much you've pushed LBP to the limit. I mean, do you feel like you could have done more, or I mean, do you have like
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say more with like the game's power. I feel like that game had a very limited well, it's a PS3 game, you know, so like it had a very small amount of power. Like you had to be smart with how you used it. Like this game, Dreams is more for the PS4. I can tell the power difference. Like there's a very strange you can optimize stuff now, this and that, and it's like amazing because a little bit you didn't have the option to optimize something. You had to do a lot of jumping through different hoops and all this stuff to get something to be quote unquote optimized. But if I wanted to do more on LittleBigPlanet, I think it was more based on my my own design for things, because I've seen people who have done more complex pieces of scenes, but they never really have the same effect, because I feel like it's kind of like when you're drawing something, more doesn't necessarily mean better. You know, it's how you use the certain things in what you're working on right now, the composition of it. I think LittleBigPlanet for me, on my own work, maybe I have maxed it out to a point where I can't work on it anymore. I corrupt it a lot. But I feel like if I ever went back to do more stuff, it would be more based on how my style has changed since the last time, more than the game's power running out. I always had a good amount of thermal left when I worked on stuff. I think it was more just my imagination was drained at a certain point.
So you don't have any projects that you were carrying over from LBP by any chance, before, where well, I'm a quarter of a way done with this, but I'm just gonna transfer it to Dreams and do it there.
Let's see if I had any projects up. I had a level called Honor on LittleBigPlanet. It's very heavily influenced by For Honor, the Ubisoft title. At some point, Rolf Neal, the dude I'm actually working on this current project with, helped me with that one. We've been close buddies with creating for a while, and I think if I was to ever bring back anything from LittleBigPlanet, it would be that, because I like the kind of Dark Souls gameplay with PvP. I like that kind of stuff, having players with swords and shields attack each other and try to outwit each other in combat. It's interesting to me. It makes for an interesting, I think, gameplay design or gameplay in general. So probably that project, and I think that's about it, because all the other projects I ever had from LittleBigPlanet were I think I took them off the game because I realized they wouldn't translate well with that game, and try making them more for overall ideas, stories and such.
I feel like you've just known about Dreams since the announcement carried over, so as soon as it dropped, you're preparing.
Oh yeah,
from day one, from the slightest hint of a new IP from Meet a Molecule.
I was always my friend. So my friend Noon LVP, he's my secondary best pal. I always talk to him, and we would usually, every time they showed off a new stream, we would line up to watch it, because it was just fascinating. That game is so cool. Most people will downplay it because sometimes you see something from the surface, you don't see what really can come from it. And I'm gonna be honest, I had some strange expectations with it, because you don't know if it's gonna be as good as LittleBigPlanet. You don't know if it's gonna work the way you want it to. You don't know if you're ever gonna be able to work on stuff in it. Because it's like a leap almost, all the stuff they're doing with it now.
And a lot of changes taking place even now, like you said.
Yeah, like I like see. I was excited, like, but I always know this. Just like there's always has to be a catch. Like it can never be perfect, you know. But so far from what I've messed around with, I would say I actually think I downplayed it because I assumed I was gonna be able to do some sort of stuff on it, but I always thought there was gonna be a giant like style limitation in a sense, which there still is. Like there's a very dreamy, foggy looking look to things, but I feel like with enough messing around with some of the tools that you already have in that game, you can really make something that looks like insane. And I not to refer to my own work on like some of the references, Big Surf made that encounter level. My mind was blown when I saw that. I was like, wow, this is sharp. Marceline made the ship. That looks really amazing. It's like clean cut and everything. I don't really see much fog in the level. Roth made Prometheus, and it's like, you know, like just like it looks so like out of Dreams' ballpark that when I started seeing stuff like that, yeah, like I started seeing stuff like that, I wasn't too worried anymore about the style being a limitation, more so than an obstacle. You know, I mean, I messed up a little bit, but something to overcome with like some tinkering on the creative side.
And it shows other people like the mechanics can feel different as well. Like I think in LBP, the mechanics would always kind of feel the same no matter for the most part at least. But when you like those two you mentioned, apart from playing as a default puppet and then going into that first person game with Prometheus and even the encounter, you can the controls they can be fine tuned and feel different, feel like an actual complete new game.
Yeah. Oh my
so
God.
The work on the controls and the attention to the controls is a good thing. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, that's something that LittleBigPlanet never did. Like, I'm just gonna say it right now. Like, I still think LittleBigPlanet was amazing because it introduced so many people to the idea of doing stuff like this. Like, I will always love LittleBigPlanet. Like, I'll say 3 was a very strange game for like a lack of better words, but with Dreams, what LittleBigPlanet used to do is that whenever I played any kind of level, even if it was supposed to be a whole different genre or something, unless it was just a level with UI elements, I knew like it always felt like that other level I played. Like, and that was kind of like in the back of my head, like, and that kind of took away from the experience of what people were trying to make. But with Dreams, like the stuff I've played, like some of the control schemes, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Like they feel so like different. Like everybody has like a unique control scheme, how it feels. I've seen people make like first person stuff now with dead zones, like something I don't even think most people would know how to use. It's when you like move the analog a little bit and you don't move yet until a certain area of the analog.
Nice.
But yeah, it's super cool. Like no one's ever gonna really need it, but it's awesome it's there because I would totally like use it. That's like such a cool mechanic. It's really amazing how much the little things you can change in terms of gameplay with Dreams that you couldn't do with LittleBigPlanet. That really lends itself well to being like a platform for game.
So when did you get the beta?
When did I get the day after the announcement?
Okay, from right in December then.
Straight into it, yeah.
Same with Basement and me.
Yeah, it was like the first wave pretty much. I freaked out. I was very happy I got in. Like I thought I would have to like send them 1,000 messages or something because at some point they invited me a while back, but I never took it serious anymore because they kept delaying the game. So I assumed they didn't really care about that proposal anymore. So I was kind of sitting there like, oh my God, I'm not gonna get in. I was just thinking like, I'm gonna be so screwed over if I don't get into that beta. Thank the Lords at me and Molecule Tower for helping us out on that.
Nice. So what's your current persona right now at Dreams, and what persona would you say you are mainly?
Like in terms of like my character, like me, or
your imp?
My imp. Let me check actually, because I have the screen right there. I think my imp currently is let me see. Let me leave this level.
And since Dreams will, for those who don't know, like based on what you do, the game kind of levels you up with XP and puts you in these categories, types of creation. So if you do a lot of audio, it'll say, hey, you're an audio persona, or you've recently messed with art. Now, if you anybody could do that and gain anyone, but what persona would you say you are mainly?
Right now, as I'm seeing it, and it makes sense because I have been dabbling in it a lot, is design and art. And I found out what those two exactly relate to in terms of what you're doing in the game. Art is for like doing physical, like sculpting and stuff. I believe in like anything that has to do with like visual presentation, like designing a level, basically. I didn't know what design was. I think it's also a little bit of that, but it's more about like gameplay, like when you're building actual like logic, this and that, along with said presentation, like using anything that's like logic related. So right now I'm a perfect mix in between them,
Nice.
design and art. Yeah. I thought I was gonna start the game out more music because I'm impressed with the music tool, but I didn't really get enough time to mess with it because I was building the other thing, and I'm currently on a music break, so I ended up just going full on design and art.
Yeah, you do quite a bit. Like, I've checked out your creations. You have a lot of dream levels, but you do have that Soy Boy album LP, which is I think it's about a 4 or 5 track little micro album in Dreams with a little visual to it.
Yeah, that was that alone, like, I was gonna make bigger songs, but those songs are really just more like loops, the ideas I was trying to mess around with. I think it was at that moment I realized, I don't know who works on the design tools for the music. I think it's Ed Hargrave, I believe. You might be like the music guy. I don't want to like just downplay and like there's like a whole bunch of people working on it, but whoever made those music tools, like whoever did the music tools, and like, oh my god, I work with like a DAW program. Like, I make music. I teach it sometimes whenever I'm like not doing anything, right? And all the tools in Dreams music like tool set are exactly the same. I would actually say they do a bit things better actually than most DAW programs.
Which DAW program do you use right now outside of Dreams?
I currently use okay, so when I'm on the go, I use GarageBand because it's on my phone, so it's like ideal. But for all my music, like final products, anything I've ever published on media is FL Studio or Fruity Loops. That's what people want to like to call it.
Now, don't you think Dreams takes a little more? Well, not to say they do, but if there was one that relates more to one than the other, it's more like FL Studio than GarageBand. If you have the same sentience, that glass kind of pane look.
Yeah, what happened?
That glass pane kind of look, transparent.
It has like the same I forgot what it's called. I want to call it the playlist. Now I don't know what exactly it's called, but yeah, it does look like it refers a lot of it, like everything, how you put the music down, automations with keynotes and how that looks. Like it feels like I'm using like a something like FL Studio in a sense. A few things are a little strange to me. Like I didn't understand how to do automations until I understood Keynote, which still work wonders. Keynotes are oh my god, those things are a blessing. Oh my god.
So aside from the music work, those projects would be, let's see, you have the I don't know which, you're probably most notorious dream right now I'd say is Curiosity.
Yeah, sure that one got I think you might be correct. Let me check real quick because I think it's Curiosity.
You have a level called like Adrift or something, Winter Scene, and then the next one was some dungeons kind of showcase.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay,
Curiosity was after that, I think.
Yeah, Curiosity was actually like my second to last thing. I did not expect that one to get as far as it did. Like I actually made that to test out like scale. My phone for a second. And what I really worked, I guess, kind of hard on, even though there's a lot of things I would like to change about it, because I threw it together with the help of Roth again in a good week, was the visceral like presentation. I wanted to see like how, yeah, that one took more time than Curiosity. Curiosity took, I want to say, a day, but to be fair, Curiosity, when you look, if you look at it as the whole thing, you think like most people are thinking like, whoa, that's nuts, but for me, it was more like you take a really good asset, because there's like, you can obviously see that's just like the same asset, like structured in a certain way, and that's how I did most of the like the landscape and everything, by like composition afterwards. So when I made that compared to working on Visceral for like I was expecting Curiosity to be way below it, but it ended up blowing past it and ending up like on the top page. So I'm happy it's there now. I'm happy people like it. It's a little barren, because you just kind of walk, but I'm happy people are appreciating it.
Oh yeah, so much it blew super. I mean, it went to the top of the community jam. I think the theme was robots that week. So
oh yeah.
So you got what you have number one.
Yeah, that I felt kind of like strange about that, because everybody had made a robot thing in like a group I was talking in, and I thought they were like pulling my leg when they said that I had one. And I was kind of saying they're like, holy, whoa, what? And I saw all the other creations that were more robot based, and I was like, oof, well, I mean, I don't think I should have won, but I'm happy I have it. I saw some crazy robots during that jam, like insanely cool ones. Yeah.
Robot Revolution all day jam. That was one of my favorites. I think I entered something for it, but yours was really impressive. As soon as I saw what you did. Now, honestly, I don't know if you could tell by my comment I left on your page, but you probably guessed my first impressions of your level. It was beautiful and awesome, but I unfortunately went to the right of that level, and you have like a gap that like just you have to start over. I'm like, I'll start. I want to see what happens. I want to see the rest. And you have this nice, beautiful shot at the end when you get to your the destination point.
So I actually have a reason behind the wall. So let me actually see real quick. I also think I fixed it, but the wall's still there, and here's why. That scene alone, like that area that you explored so far, like I was not done with it. I released it so I can get out of my like way, because I didn't want it to like sidetrack me too much on like the other stuff, because I was working on making like a sort of like a mini video, or like present like all the stuff I've shown so far have been like stuff I've been building up slowly during the beta, and making Curiosity a project was going to be like something in between, which would take up time on the stuff that I really need to show off. I would say, if anything, Curiosity is like a tech demo for me in terms of like scale. Now, here's the thing. It took me a whole day just to do that one section you walked through, like with the rocks and stuff. And I still wasn't done with that, because I felt like it was very like empty and didn't have really a direction. So if you were to get past the lake, let's say, there would just be an unfathomable like amount of empty land that I probably will open up whenever I find a way to make it all structure and work well, so you don't like fall through the level floor and stuff. But the only area I managed to somewhat polish in terms of like, in a sense, not letting the robot fall through the level, which was a problem I was having, was the area where you like traverse to the side of the lake, and then the level ends there. But I did see a lot of comments with the level wall, and I was like, oh my god, no, I gotta fix that now. So I've been tinkering with updates every now and then to see if I can like better streamline it, streamline it.
But just so
players.
So okay, so but still the whole entire scene and the creations that you put in Curiosity. So that took one whole day, or for the whole thing, like everything that you made in there?
The scene itself took a whole day, because I had like literally nothing to do.
Nice.
So what I did was I ended up talking with like my friends, and we were sitting there, and I was just, as I was talking, you know, I was like building slowly up like some area, and I started realizing like this kind of looks cool, like, you know, like it looks kind of neat, like maybe I could make like something out of it. That's when I started trying to get into like a really intensive like design and stuff, or like try my hand at it, so I knew what was like possible to scale. And it just came together. Like at a certain point, I remember I was sitting there, and I was like, "This kind of like nice." Like I actually think I could just release this as is, and maybe someone will like.
I still think the most visually impressive thing that I've seen is Metro, which came after that. I think Metro looks nice.
That one took a bit. Yeah, thank you.
When I saw that, I was like, I need to animate in this scene, please.
That scene took, oh boy, I'm still not done with it because it's part of like a more bigger project. But that scene was definitely like a bit of a challenge to do because I had to look at. I actually live near a neighborhood that doesn't look as bad as that, but it's the direct copy of it. So what I would do when I was outside is take pictures of the neighborhood, come back home, and see how much of that I could replicate. At a certain point, I remember. Well, first off, okay, that took 3 days to do that scene. That took a bit of time. And every day was like a different like layer of the creation. The first day was building the base. The second day was building, doing the ambient, like the whole like how everything kind of has like a color scheme like mixed up with it in a sense. And then the third day, what was that day? Polish, like trying to add all the extra little details, like the puddles of water, boxes, garbage bags. Like all the small minor details I knew people were gonna look at.
Well, it's very very attention to detail. Like I just let the thing run in a loop probably for about a good amount. I just let it loop, and even though I've seen the same telephone pole scene for the past 2 loops, I just couldn't look away. You have to soak your scenes in, really, and that's when you know you have a good dream, where you can just go back to it and just rewatch it.
Hey man, let me cut in. Do you use photo reference aside from the camera, the shots you took for the street scene? Did you have any photo reference for Curiosity at all? Is that something you dig up, or or you just at the top of the head?
I could tell you the stuff I did have references for. So Curiosity, I didn't have photo reference for. That one I was kind of just freeballing it because I was thinking about like stuff I've seen before that shows space. I don't know. One of my friends said it looked like the moon, but I would say it looked like a whole different planet. I can't even imagine what kind of planet looks like that. But that one was based off just like going off like the top of my noggin. The Metro scene definitely used references because that was like really like referring off real life material. Visceral used some like some references from real life, like kind of dark looking places, etc. And Adrift, I think I just did like I was just kind of like messing around with the tools because this was the first week, so I was trying to see what looked like grass, what could look like trees, this and that, clouds.
Right on, man. Right on. It shows, like, especially with the Metro piece, it shows. It's you know, you can see the attention to detail.
Yeah, cause like I want to make sure if I was gonna do that area, like someone could see that area. Like, okay, like I want to make sure people know like Dreams is like, you know, as good as like most of like artists who like use Blender or like design stuff use reference, you know, like because sometimes it's better to like base off something that exists, so that way you're not sitting there thinking like, how am I gonna do this when there's like plenty of like references you can go off of. And it's pretty interesting because it really shows that like in Dreams, even if you don't want to just like go off the top of your noggin, because that could be sometimes stressful because sometimes you don't know what you want to do. It's so easy to just translate, not easy, but it is possible, like highly possible to translate something from reality or from another piece of work into Dreams and make it look as good as you want it to.
And your latest project is Stranding, which is obviously inspired by Death Stranding.
The man himself, yeah, Hideo Kojima. Death Stranding.
Did you now was this from memory? Because I know some people have everybody's got some kind of like photographic memory, but unless you have like one of those super unhuman freak photographic memories, did you use a reference with this, or was this off the top of the noggin too? Because
no, that was reference. I'm not gonna get too crazy, but that was reference. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio reference. but it's based off one of the scenes he showed in I think the third trailer, Death Stranding, where it showed Norman Reedus as one, like, I want to say the porter guy.
Yeah, the third person view stuff.
When he was walking up like this beautiful landscape, I'm blown away by how good Decima looks. It's the engine used by the Killzone creators, and oh god, like looking at that engine, looking at that footage gives me like like it's just like a feeling. Like I just can't wait to see how that game looks, like with my own peepers in front of like a TV.
Day one. That's
Day
like
one.
the only one of the few day one games I could think about with Dreams out. Dreams kind of just overshadows everything for me personally.
Yeah, Dreams is gonna be one of those games where, just like LittleBigPlanet, I always play a few other games that came out and really caught my eye, because you can tell some devs build some incredible games like that need to be seen. But in terms of most of the stuff that gets shown, I know for sure Dreams is gonna be the game I'm always on, like for the most part, once it comes out.
So, like I said before, like really great stuff. Is there anything off the top of your head that you would say that? Well, what sort of skills do you think you need to get better at in Dreams? I know it's a beta. I know if it's only been out like a month, but anything you would like to share what you're trying to work on personally?
So I think some things that you should really know how to do is I think the best thing you can know how to do for a level, because I've realized a lot of people neglect this really, and I've been trying to get into it more because it helps a lot. In a sense, build levels that are tailored, or learn a direction for players where like you're not standing in one spot and wondering like what's supposed to happen. I kind of messed it up with Visceral, and I was having a panic attack because at some point the molecules were playing it on stream, and they forgot to get something, and I thought in the back of my head that I had made it obvious that there was an object in a room because of a blinking light, but I also realized how easy it is to not notice that room. So I was like, oh no, they're gonna end the level in the middle. So I would say the best thing you could do is build levels that still require you to think about how you're gonna do something, but don't leave players in the dark, because as soon as you do that, someone might lose interest and leave. And the last thing you want is someone leaving the level you worked hard on,
That's a nice pun there.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, and that's a good tip, by the way, because you have to think, all right, how can people think about this situation right here, and how can this person think about it, and how can this previous person think about it in a different way based on different moods or different times of the day. Might not get that detailed with it, but if somebody's like kind of lazy at the moment, they might not be fully aware, and you got to think about this kind of leniency within that. And what's funny is I noticed that I went to record the level again, second time playing through, and when you get to that one part where you have to, after the event part, I don't know if people care about spoilers in that level, but after the one part, I'm like, I played this before. I feel like I'm supposed to go this way, but I think I can go this way. And then after about 3 tries, I'm like, all right, yeah, I should have just went this way instead.
Like, I'm still right now with Project Zero, which is not referring to Fatal Frame, because everybody wants to say Fatal Frame. But this is like a placeholder name for that. What me and Roth have been trying to do is create an experience somewhat linear. Like, that's not open world by any means, because that's an undertaking that even I don't think I can manage. But we are keeping it very like everything is in a linear pace with open areas, and we want to make sure that there's never really a moment where the player is clueless as to what's happening. Like, if you ever do have something like that, in any scenario that you don't want to directly give the players directions, I always feel like visual cues, if used right, are the perfect way to have the environment speak for you in terms of where you have to go. Like a certain light, a whole different tone from the environment. That always catches a person's eyes.
And this isn't released, right? You've just been sharing a couple screenshots here and there on social media, right?
Yeah, this is not released. This is probably going to be a while before this is released. right now we're currently like we're still like in the idea period. Like the visual presentation I've shown, I want to keep it to that level. But in terms of gameplay, we're still trying to work out a lot of stuff. He's been okay, so I gotta give credit to Roth because I'm not good too much with logic, but him, oh my god. The same way people look at the stuff I make, I look at his logic. Like he does a pretty good job trying to do stuff that I can only imagine thinking doing like a portion of. So he's been working hard on like trying to build like gameplay that feels there, like like kind of has like some kind of feedback to it, which is a little strange to try doing because we've never really done anything like that before. But I think so far it's coming along nicely. So whenever I do get to show more of it, it's gonna look as good as, or at least somewhere at a level where people are like, okay.
So Disarmed,
Mm-hmm.
DualShock 4 or PS Moves?
Okay. I don't have moves, so I've been using the PS4 controls. I've heard people tell me that the moves are really good, but I've also heard people say that DualShock is impossible to create with, and I can assure you it is not impossible to create with.
That's impressive.
Yeah, thank you. My back hurts, but the DualShock is actually really capable of doing some awesome stuff. Like people downplayed it way too much, and I totally understand why because the game has been marketed with moves. One thing they could change that I think is overall just for like DualShock players is please let us just use the analogs. Like I love the idea of using the 6-axis. I gotten used to it personally, but there's a lot of people who have like shaky hands, can't move an analog controller, like there's like
Imp's got
not everybody has the
Parkinson's.
perfect. Yeah, like everybody doesn't have perfect like coordination with holding the 6-axis controller. So it would be really, really good of them to like allow players to use the analogs as a means of navigating during create mode.
Yeah, since the NDA's lifted, I can say that they are looking into it. So there is there's signs for more accessible control schemes to your liking. So you don't ever plan on getting PS Moves then?
See, like right now, like I've thought about buying them, but like I'm currently waiting. Like I'm not like in a rush to get them. Like I feel like maybe one day if I see them like just there, and I'm like, screw it, I'll get them. At the current moment, I've kind of just like I've been really good with using the DualShock. Maybe at some point, if I want to test something out, like see what I can do with the moves, I'll probably get some moves. But I think right now I'm doing pretty decent with the DualShock controllers.
So okay, so let's put it this way. With next gen in mind and the possibilities that may ensue, do you think you would ever plan or would you consider working with PSVR if the opportunity persists for you in Dreams? Would you ever do VR?
We have something planned with VR in mind, me and Roth, but I also have a few things I would like to see done in VR. Because that's an interesting like area to tread on. Like that is really cool. Like building a VR game, you're building like an experience for like an immersive experience. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet and how I'm gonna tackle it because I feel like VR is a bit of a strange spot to create in because you have to tweak things so the player doesn't get sick. Probably I can imagine. You have to find a way to make the experience for them like comfortable in a weird way. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna be moving your head and everything. And the last thing I want to ever hear someone say is, "This level made me throw up," because that's not gonna look well when people are like, "Oh no." But I definitely want to mess with VR in the future if it's still something that's very prevalent in like the community.
Nice. I'm gonna be looking forward to that because I'm a PSVR advocate.
Okay, yeah. So hopefully I'll have something that blows your mind in like the near future with VR.
Well, you before earlier on you were mentioning Big Surf's encounter level, but can you name another or describe one of your favorite things you've seen in Dreams so far?
Let me see. I think I actually have a few of my favorite little things that I've seen during the beta because they're like it's insane what people are doing in this game, dude. Like yeah, I I'm still mind blown about some of the things. I'm trying to find certain ones that I really thought caught my attention. Oh, okay. Um, Breezy or like Breezy the Pro, but his name goes by J plus B on PlayStation. Um, Fret Star. Me and my cousin used to play the absolute heck out of Guitar Hero when we were younger, and I haven't touched Guitar Hero in a long time. And I remember when this level came out and I was playing it in the earlier like weeks of the beta, I was sitting there like, holy crap, this is so cool. Like this made me feel like I was playing like legitimately Guitar Hero. It feels just like it. Everything about it, like how you hit notes, how the songs progress. So that's one of the things I thought was really cool. What else is there? There Prometheus, but again, yeah, Prometheus is like that's really cool. It's really solid FPS mechanics, and Rolf is like a really good friend of mine, so I'm gonna shout him out. What else? What else? What else? I think there's a level with okay. Block Builder by Acer. That one's really cool. It's like a Minecraft sort of thing. Like it runs like it plays like Minecraft and everything. Even has like a little UI and everything. It's really solid. That guy is really good with logic. And if I had to say one last thing I've seen to add to this list is, hold up, let me check real quick. Oh yeah, Project Hill Redux. AC Drummond or Avery. He's been working. He worked his butt off on this thing. And I gotta say, it's really well done. Like it has like an interesting like vibe to it. So like polished in like what it does. It's really cool. Like I'm really happy published because he worked hard on that one. So I think those are like 4 levels I would highly recommend if you haven't tried them out yet.
Definitely good levels.
Yeah.
What else do you want to see happen in Dreams?
What else do you want? Like from developers or from creators?
In general.
Okay, so what I would like to see done in Dreams, I would like to see someone create dynamic loading for levels, similar to dynamic thermo from LittleBigPlanet 3. I think that's a really, really good opportunity that's been missed because you can build like really big like landscapes and everything in Dreams. I think the big problem, at a certain point, you will reach a limit. And I feel like if we had something that could let us like somewhat render data more smart, like during gameplay, people can get away with much more bigger things than they're like expecting to pull off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people were trying to like think of ideas like can they emit and doesn't like destroy the emitter or something like that and just cancel out the thermo. There's some people are trying to figure that out. I think that'll happen soon, most likely.
If it does, I'm telling you right now, that alone will be a massive game changer. Because then people start worrying less about where their limitations are hit and more about what they're gonna do with that extra space. That can add a lot to something. You can make massive world with incredible detail, not only with just visuals, but like gameplay, complexity. But I guess we'll have to wait and see because I know something like that is a little hard to tackle, especially when we only had a month so far to play the game. But I definitely know someone's gonna do something like it, and I know for sure when I play it, I'm gonna be blown out of my mind.
So what should people wait and see from you? Do you have any more teases or hints you would like to drop by for people who are reading or listening?
So for Project Zero, me and Rob are gonna like make sure we do give updates whenever we're capable of doing so. We want to make sure that all the updates aren't just like small little things like, oh, we added a rock to that one corner of the level. We want to make sure like every update feels like a new little trailer coming out or something like to really hype up the excitement for the level itself. But in terms of other things, I do have a few things planned, and I know soon enough I'll be showing off what I want to do. Multiplayer is amongst one of them, so definitely I know when the game comes out, there should be something that's multiplayer related. Like I don't know exactly what it's gonna be yet. I have ideas, but nothing solid. So I don't want to like make a false promise or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be having a lot of people asking constantly, even though you'll be pumping out bigger updates.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody asking probably weekly, hey, you know, how's the project coming on? And then they'll try to give you like get you to speak about one of those smaller updates, but you just got to stick to your guns and your plan.
Yeah, keep it together because I've learned like you don't want to like give too much and then give little when you realize you can like give them the whole thing. So like we're trying to find out what's the best middleman where we can reasonably work with it and make something, and we can give people something that I know will possibly be like, whoa, you know, to them, not like, eh.
So where can people find you and follow you for just anything?
So
Social media, all that stuff.
I only use really just Twitter and YouTube. So on YouTube, I believe if you write Disarmed, you'll find me on there. I will post videos of a better resolution than the things I post on Twitter, hopefully. And I think I might try doing more dreams like stuff. That's not just like my creations, like maybe tell people how to do certain things, this and that, and etc. And Twitter. I'm always active on Twitter. It's kind of like my go-to place to see like where everything is happening because it's like a buzzing, you know, it's like very active. So Twitter at Disarmed Tweet.
And then of course on Dreams and on Dreams, it's unless you do a PSN name change when they officially release that or whatever the situation with that is.
Yeah,
it might just be Disarmed in the future, like you've mentioned.
Yeah, please. I hope that they really just like. Cause I just can't live with the PRO anymore. Like it's driving me mad. As soon as that happens, yeah. From the time this video was made, if the PlayStation thing had ever gone live during the time period, hopefully I'll just be Disarmed on PlayStation. But I think if you look up Disarm on Dreams, like on the search thing, you will find my stuff.
Oh, by the way, is there like a? How'd you come up with a name?
Disarm. Okay, this one I love saying real quick. I used to play a ton of Call of Duty when I made the account, and I used to play with a group of friends. And I, you know, being like a young teen who was really cool doing it, I used to run around with like just a knife. I never used a gun. I would just run around with a knife and stab people on Call of Duty. So I would call myself Disarmed Pro. You know, like I didn't need even though it kind of seems like weird because, you know, you still are armed with a weapon, but point being, I thought it was like really slick and cool doing that. And as soon as the Call of Duty age for me stopped, all the remorse and regret for making that name sunk in, and I've just been stuck with it for the last 9 years.
Well, that's kind of what you're doing right now with Dreams. Every little logic node that you see, it's just like a swipe there and a swipe there, and you're just knocking stuff out of the park, man.
Oh my god. Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Looking forward to everything. Appreciate you giving us some insight on the Disarmed progress and Dreams.
No problem, dude. I love doing it. It was pretty cool to talk actually about the stuff.
And if this is posted on via audio, it'll be on SoundCloud most likely, or you can always just find the transcripts on ImpSpace.com. And until the full release, we'll see what everybody pumps out in a year or two. So it's going to be an awesome journey, man.